Have you ever heard of a fairy fort? Fairy forts are thin places where every now and again the veil between worlds is lifted. It's at places like this incredible things can happen. Now, this story was recorded in 1850 by a folklore collector. And right now I'm at the foot of Burlow Castle, and it may not seem like much, but it was a powerful centre at one point, and there was a great king who lived here, and it was a time when there was a king in every county. To the locals, it was always known as Burlow Castle or the Fairy Fort. And one day, two farmers, Harry and Charles, were set to plough the field above it. It sits on a plateau, and they were set to plough this plateau. Now, it was the kind of place locals wouldn't have gone at night or on their own, but two strong, strapping farmers in the middle of the day, what problems could they possibly have? So Harry and Charles arranged to meet at the crack of dawn, and they began ploughing. Now, Harry heard a cry, a strange noise, and it turned his blood to ice. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up. An unearthly sound, it seemed to him. "Did you hear that, Charles?" he said. And Charles replied, "Yeah, I heard it. What was it?" As if it didn't have the same effect on him. And Harry said, "I reckon it's the fairies, or the fairies as they used to call it in this part of Sussex." "Fairies aren't real," said Charles. "Don't be ridiculous. Come on. I've spoken to the parish clerk. He's told me fairies aren't real. They used to be, but not anymore. All the fairies are gone." And Charles turned away and carried on working. Harry again hears the sound, but this time it's audible, an audible cry going, "Help! Help!" Harry again is frozen with fear. He doesn't know what to do. He hears the little voice again, "Help me! Help me!" Now, Harry was a helpful kind of a person, so Harry said, "What's the matter?" And again the little voice said, "I've broken my peel. I was baking and I've broken my peel. Please help. Please help." Harry, again, the helpful sort that he was, said to the voice, "Okay, pass it to me and I'll see if I can fix it for you." And suddenly, through a crack in the earth, because it was a very dry day, through one of these tiny cracks came a little peel. Now, this is the kind of thing used to bake bread and cakes. It was no bigger than a little bread knife or a butter knife. And Harry had to stop himself from laughing because it was so small, but he knew not to laugh at the little people, because bad things could happen to those who doubted them or who mocked them, and they were to be respected. So Harry took the little peel in two pieces. It was split in half, and from his pocket he took two little pins and he pinned it together, fixed it good as new, using his knee as a work table, and he passed it back through the little gap and carried on with his day. And he spoke to Charles about it, and Charles said, "Don't be stupid. Come on, that could never have happened. The fairies aren't real. I told you all the fairies are dead." The next day they came back to carry on ploughing. Harry hadn't told anyone what happened for fear he wouldn't be believed, but he would try and convince Charles, because Charles was there and Charles had heard it, but Charles was denying it. Harry is working hard again, and just before 11, the same time as the day before, appears through one of these cracks a tiny little bowl, and the bowl is full of beer. It's this beautiful, intricate designs, something that could impossible to make, it seemed. Glass, blue and green, the way it caught the light, it was truly a magical object. And inside it was beer. Now, Harry had been working hard, and he thought, wow, what perfect opportunity. What great, refreshing, delicious beer this is going to be. He could smell it. The aroma was delightful. And he took a sip. And it was the best beer he'd ever had in his life. And then, as he finished the little bowl, a thought occurred to him. I've got this bowl now. I can show this to Charles, and Charles will have to believe me. And just as the thought crossed his mind, whoosh, the bowl flew out of his hands and smashed on the floor into a million pieces. Now Harry called Charles over and said, "Look at this, look at this." And Charles, seeing the scraps and the shards on the floor, said, "Well, it's just a broken bowl. I mean, that doesn't prove anything. Someone's probably just left that up here." And again, Harry was not believed. and Charles reiterated to him, the fairies are dead. But later that day, while they were ploughing the field, Charles fell ill. He started feeling incredibly nauseous. He couldn't see straight. He had vertigo. He couldn't stand. Suddenly, he had to go home. He just couldn't hack the day's work. And so later that week, Charles became even more ill, and the weight was just falling off his body till he became skin and bone. There was nothing the doctors could do, nothing a priest could do, nothing anyone could do for poor Charles. And a year to the day that the little bowl of beer appeared and Charles denounced the fairies, Charles died. Now I am just below the fairy fort now, still really amongst it. It's getting dark now. I think I should probably leave.